It's eye-catching but empty, the 23-storey tower at the Mill, the tallest building in Suffolk. Work started in 2007, but it's never been lived in after the developers went into administration. Now, though the tower and the flats behind it, which are home to some 215 leasehold residents and urgently need fire safety improvements, have been taken on by Ipswich-based developer and investor John Howard. He knows the waterfront area and the challenges well, having completed work on the nearby wine rack building, which also sat unwanted and unfinished for years. A new lease of life for that site. Now he's hoping to do the same at the Mill, having bought the freehold from the receivers.
It's basically in two parts, really. The first is the responsibility we have to 215 residents and their flats. At the moment, their flats are worth not very much. They're all qualified for the cladding grant that the government have offered. So that's a really good thing. But we are responsible as freeholders to get the job done. And that really is a very, very challenging task to get a project like this done. All the buildings have got to be reclad. And of course, we've got 215 residents to look after in the process.
And it's a nominal sum, effectively, because of the complexity of the scheme.
Absolutely. It's hugely challenging. But that's only one part of it, Kevin. The second part is the tower, which is currently vacant and has the cladding falling off it. But that's a separate challenge, and that's 80 flats we will be creating in there and then selling them off individually to hopefully first-time buyers.
And are there any lessons that you learnt on the wine rack that you can apply to this?
Yes, probably, Kevin. Don't do it again. But here I am. So, you know, this is a massive undertaking, and it needs the support of Ipswich Borough Council, Homes England, the Residents Association, the contractors, the consultants we use, and of course we've used a lot of these people before, so that's good. So, you know, we have that experience. And my partner on this is very experienced with high rise as well. I brought him in because he's got a wealth of experience, Paul Hardy, to get the job done. And it is a massive challenge, and it really needs the support of everybody to get this done. Kevin, I can't emphasize enough the challenge this is going to be. In fact, I would say it's going to be the biggest challenge of my career.
Should we go and have a look?
Yeah, let's do that. This went belly up in about 2008, about the same time as the wine rack did.
It's almost 20 years it's been sitting.
So 20 years it's been sitting here, and it just shows you how long it can take for these developments which become a problem to be turned around. Very, very challenging.
This is incredible, John. I mean, to think it's been like this for what, best part of 20 years?
Yeah, and how quickly has the 20 years gone, by the way?
I know.
I mean, I remember when it was built, and it just looks like they've just stopped work and just walked off site, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Entirely.
And when you're up here, we're not even at the top yet, but you can see why they'd be desirable. I mean, the views are fantastic.
Fantastic views, and of course the higher you get, the better they are. And ultimately, there'll be fantastic apartments for sale. So the good news, all the electrics are in, the lifts are in. Unfortunately, most of this will have to come down. And the reason it will come down is because whoever the contractor we choose, they're unlikely to want to warrant the work that's been done so far. So they will strip this out. They'll strip it out in a day or two per floor, to be honest with you. So it's a shame because this has been done, but it's going to have to come out.
Because they need to know what they're doing.
Yeah, and they haven't warranted it, and they'll say, well, we want to strip it all out and start fresh. Same with the windows, of course, as well. They will be coming out as well, and all the rest of it. But hey, that's just at the level we're at. You know, we're talking about big contractors that have to give, 10-year warranty on all this. So, you know, it's not for the faint-hearted. It's a big job. And as such, you've got to use a big contractor. Yeah. So then the flats that are going to be at the front, this is designed as 3 flats. So it looks too small to be 3 flats, but I can assure you, once all the walls are up, it won't look too small at all.
Big space.
Big space. enough for 3 two-bedroom flats. Yeah.
John, I've got to admit, 22 flights, no lifts.
You're looking, you know what, you're fitter than I thought you were.
I know, but that's hard work.
I
isn't
cycle
it?
every Sunday, you see, it's different
That's
for
what
me.
it
That's
is,
the
you
difference. And you had to carry the camera, to be fair.
I know, that's true. But,
And,
I mean,
but you're getting paid and I'm not for it. So that's just how it goes, isn't it?
but look at this.
Yeah.
I mean,
So this is the top floor, which is absolutely fabulous. The only problem is to retain the integrity, the structural integrity of the building. This is one of the floors that potentially has got to come off.
Yeah.
Now, we may be able to replace it with a lighter structure. And we hope we can, because what a fantastic penthouse this would make.
Yeah.
In fact, for someone like you, Kevin, who's looking to retire, or he's part retired now, you and Sal, I can see you up here, can't you? No animals, perfect.
almost made for me.
Almost
this
made
is.
for you.
Yeah, I can wave.
You can, no one will see you, you're too high up. You're too high up.
We're focused a lot on the tower so far, but of course there's 2 parts to this. The tower is one, but what's behind it as well, and you've got 215 leaseholders.
Yes.
And you're really keen to obviously look after them. So how complex will that part of the project be?
Of course, that part of the development is very, very challenging. You've got 215 different residents there, all with their own challenges, and some work from home, some don't work from home, some have rented them out to other people, some haven't, some live there. It's very, very challenging, and to pull all that together, to make sure that the phases work correctly, and that we hopefully we can keep as many people in their homes while we're doing the work as possible. That's a massive challenge, and that's where we need the help from Ipswich Borough Council, especially there, to really support us on the planning, which I'm sure they will. We have to go for planning for the cladding and everything, but I don't see any issue with that, but we have to go for the planning. It needs the support, as I said before, of the residents to be sensible and to be as flexible as they can be. Ipswich Borough Council, our consultants, our engineers, goodness, everyone really has to pull together. Homes England, who are helping to fund it, the cladding fund. You know, it's a massive undertaking.
Because all the cladding has to come off.
The whole lot.
Then it's got to be reclad.
Yes.
So it's a complex operation, as we've seen on other buildings elsewhere.
Yes, I mean, I have to say, the good news is my partner, Paul Hardy, has done this before. So that does help, and obviously we've got the experience of the wine rack and other tower blocks we've done. And Ingleton Wood, who are our consultants on this, they have got a big challenge on as well. But they've done the wine rack, they've done others around Ipswich as well. So again, we've got a very experienced team here. And if anyone can pull this off and get it done within a certain time scale and also to budget, it will be us.
You're posing your own questions there, because I was going to ask you about timescale. What is your timeline at the moment?
Well, the one thing any property developer will ever tell you, or investor, is that nothing ever comes on time and very little on budget. However, the wine rack did come on in time and on budget, and we hope to do the same here. You know, I would have thought we'd start hopefully within 12 months, and I think it will probably take 2 years to do. But don't quote me on that, Kevin.
Well, there's always, because we said the complexity of
Yes.
it, there are always hidden things
Yes,
that you're
of
going to
course.
discover along the way.
Of course.
But that's a rough guide. And
Yes.
cost-wise?
Cost-wise, I think the whole thing, front and back, 30 million, something like that probably.
And does it excite you? Does it worry you? Do you go into it with a sense of trepidation?
I go in with excitement. I mean, I've been doing this 43 years and I'm still enthusiastic. I've still got drive, I've still got ambition, and I've got ambition for Ipswich as well. And I think that's hugely important. The former MP, Tom Hunt, he's put a lot of effort and time into this. I know the residents are very thankful, and I'm very thankful to Tom for all the help he's given me with the government to get this to where we've got so far. We've now got to drive it forward and make sure it's successful.
Because, as we said before, those residents, they have had a torrid time for some years now.
They've had a torrid time of it, and it's a blight at the moment on Ipswich Waterfront. And I'm passionate about Ipswich, and especially the waterfront, as you know, from my other developments I've done on the waterfront and nearby. And we've just all got to pull together to get this done.
And does it strike you as extraordinary that this building has sat like this for the best part of 20-odd years?
Do you know what? Nothing surprises me in the property world anymore, Kevin. It really doesn't. And there's only certain times in a cycle of 15, 18, 20 years of property cycle where a development like this can be done and can be done successfully. And we're in that cycle now, and we need to get it done. We need to drive it forward and get it done.
Because if nothing else, there are people in this area who are desperately in need of accommodation. And for this to sit here not used, That just seems a travesty.
It's absolutely criminal. You've only got to take the wine rack where we sold all the flats very quickly, really, considering it was COVID and everything else. And I'm sure this will be just as successful.
Good luck, John.
Thank you very much. I'm going to need it.
After our tour of the tower today, there are two things I'm able to confirm. Getting to the top with stairs only is tough, but once there, wow. And incredible to think you're savouring views from that height that few people have ever seen. This is, of course, a complex, challenging project, but it's exciting too. And we'll be back to check on progress.